I want you to watch this, not just with an open mind, but from somebody who ran against a fellow Zionist. Jen was a Zionist when she grew up, but she got away from it. So listen very carefully to this campaign ad. It'll really give you some incredible insight into what it means to break away from this absolutely genocidal, insane ideology that must be brought to its knees and removed from control over our daily lives.
This is me at 16 years old in Israel on a high school trip holding an assault rifle, and this is the definition of indoctrination. I grew up in North Miami Beach. I grew up in a very insulated, very Jewish community. We were taught that Palestine and Palestinians, that's not a real thing, that was made up by Arabs. Everybody over there that wasn't Jewish was just Arabs. But the message was always clear that Jews were not safe and that the Arabs wanted to hurt us. My relatives, my great-grandmother, my grandmother were raised with this fear mentality that without the state of Israel, Jews around the world will not be safe. True history was kept from us. We were propagandized. But as I grew older, I began to see a different reality unfolding. I witnessed the rise of the Israeli lobby, exerting its influence on our politics and policies. I learned about the injustices happening thousands of miles away in the name of Jewish people. And I can't stay silent in the face of such injustice. The right to return denied to so many Palestinians. The war fueled by the Israeli government and sanctioned by our own country, condemned by the UN and the International Court of Justice as genocide. We cannot turn a blind eye to this injustice any longer. To me, atonement is really taking accountability for your participation in something that you now realize was not correct in some way and wronged people in some way. I participated in an ethnic cleansing state. I do not feel powerless, I feel hopeful. It is time for us to use our voices to stand in solidarity with the oppressed, to demand accountability from our leaders. As a candidate, as a mother, as an ally, I pledge to fight for justice and equity for everyone, here at home and abroad, for there can be no peace without true justice. I'm Jen Perelman. I'm running for Congress, Florida's 25th district.
It still makes me sad. Jen deserves so much better than the support she got. We knew what we were up against. We knew that this particular part of the United States, which is Broward County, Florida, the suburbs of Miami and Fort Lauderdale, which are a safe haven in many ways for the Zionist movement. Wasserman Schultz has been in Congress for over 20 years. And it is, I really wish that we lived in a country where people actually cared about the issues that really mattered, that we were given an opportunity to create an even greater sense of purpose and momentum for what we were trying to do here. As Jen has said, South Florida is kind of beyond saving at this point. And I often ask myself, what difference could Jen have made if she actually won? You know, is there really anything that we could have done differently that would have allowed even a one-term congressperson to have had the type of impact that would have been necessary in this moment? And the sad truth is that if Jen was running now, she would probably have an even greater shot because of how things are changing and starting to shift against Israel in a very profound kind of way. But as somebody who would canvass almost every day for several hours, who got countless blisters, lost more weight again, and was just tired. But then I realized why I was doing this with Jen. I was doing it for everybody, but I was especially doing it for those Palestinian children who in many ways just don't have a voice. And even the people that say that they have that voice, what can you do? So anytime I asked myself, was it worth doing? Was it worth fighting on her behalf? Was it worth fighting for this cause, even though electoral politics is basically useless at this point? I mean, it's probably been useless for a long time, but now more than ever, it has been exposed to just how futile it is to even attempt to try to go down that path. The path we seek is outside of electoral politics. And electoral politics matters, to be fair. It does, especially locally. But if we just made a little bit of an impact, if there were enough people that just heard the message, that understood why it was so vital to have one of their own in their own backyard tell them to stick it where the sun don't shine, and that this will not last forever. Well, I will tell you, it's almost a year now. It's almost a year since the election. It's 10 months. 10 months. August of 24. A lot has changed since then. A lot has changed. At the time, we probably thought that the circumstances were dire, and they certainly are. They still are dire. But I think it's safe to say that there is a change in the air, and it's happening right now. So we have an obligation on this channel to use it for good and to get as many people aware of the key issues that are preventing us from actually taking back some semblance of control over our country. If we are able to sever those ties with our so-called greatest ally, then maybe, just maybe, we might actually be able to save our republic. Maybe we can't, but I sure as hell am going to try. And as long as you guys are here supporting us, continuing to get this message out there. And yes, Jen took a much needed vacation. And where did Jen go on vacation? To the one country in the world that has stood with Palestine since day one. Jen is in Ireland as we speak, a country that is part of my heritage on my father's side, and for which I am extremely grateful that we do have people that care and that do right. I know there's only so much we can do. But as I said, we are going to fight like fucking hell for the Palestinian people must be free from the river to the sea.